Hello, welcome to your back garden, which temporarily is in between people cutting hedges, mowing lawns and various other noises. So I can't do much about any local dogs barking or planes flying overhead, but you will also hear a certain noise in the background, which is a kind of tent blowing in the wind, so bear with. But we're outside. It is warm in the UK, as you probably know, in Europe as well, more generally. And so I'm filming outside, and I've got a very special pile of books just sitting in front of me. I haven't even looked at them yet because they've just arrived in a package, and I've cut it open. And I know what they are. It's something very special and exciting for me because it's part of a brand new reading project. They are all by the same writer, from memory, and they were originally published in America. So I've had a little wait to get them in my hands, and I will now, without further ado, we'll open the present and look at each one. I've got 3 books. These books are all by Robert Gottlieb. Lives and Letters. And Robert Gottlieb, why did I pick him? Why am I interested in his books? Simply because he's edited so many books. He's had so much influence on creative lives and artistic lives for decades, as he was a preeminent editor for many, many, many writers. And in addition to all of this, also for a while he was the editor at The New Yorker. So Lives and Letters are his, and I'm pausing with excitement because I was ordering them off a computer. I wasn't actually holding it in my hand, so I was finding out the most I could. This has been come here to me from Westminster, Massachusetts, by the way. Thank you, people who were there. And it's a whole list of people who are famous. A little autobiography. Well, the first one I'm looking at is Sandra Bernhard, who's actually written a whole book about her. So that's quite a shortened one. But let's see, what does it say? On inside the cover. A splendid banquet of profiles, as entertaining as they are wise. Robert Gottlieb's Lives and Letters spotlights the work, careers, intimate lives and lasting achievements of a vast array of celebrated writers and performers in film, theatre and dance, along with some of the more curious, iconic public figures of our times. The British royal family, the notorious gigolo, puzzling criminal mind. So, we've got Charles Dickens, James Thurber, we've got Isadora Duncan, Sergei Diaghilev, great, I'm interested in him, in Hollywood, Douglas Fairbanks and Lillian Gish, Katharine Hepburn, and Diana Vreeland. I'm happy to hear more from her. I've seen a documentary in her film, which was fascinating. So I'm really looking forward to that because he wrote well and given to understand, and he read widely, very, very widely. And he wrote widely and deeply. This is his book, Reading Dance, a gathering of memoirs, reportage, criticism, profiles, interviews and some uncategorizable extras, edited with an introduction by Robert Gottlieb. So, as well as editing many, many authors of the 20th century, he found time to write this as well. Here are the voices of Cecil Beaton and Irene Castle, Lynette de Valois and Bronislava Nijinsky, that's the sister of Nijinsky, Jose Limon, Alicia Markova and Natalia Makarova, and so goes on. So let me see, how many pages are there? This is going to be a challenge for me. Well, in terms of text, 1,321. This is definitely qualifies as a chunkster. And I'm not seeing a single photograph so far, so this is all text. And in the back it describes him pretty well. Robert Gottlieb has been editor-in-chief of Simon Schuster, Alfred A. Knopf and The New Yorker. He has edited books by such dance luminaries as Margot Fonteyn, Mikhail Baryshnikov, Natalia Makarova and Lincoln Kirstein. He served for many years on the board of directors of New York City Ballet. This is why he's of interest to me, because he crosses the arts, and of course, that's my bag. And finally, and I'm actually really excited about this because I wanted to have the American published edition because I coveted the cover of it. This is his autobiography, Robert Gottlieb, Avid Reader, A Life. Look at that picture. I love it. It's surrounded by paper but actively reaching for something. The phone. In the background you can see that he's clearly working in a New York office high up. But it's that picture of paperwork and yet reaching for something and being active is wonderful. So sometimes people think that because you're a bookworm you're not active, or you're sort of more passive, sitting coiled up in the corner reading, which of course we do love to do, but this is more. So here's more about him. After editing the Columbia Review, staging plays at Cambridge and doing a stint in the greeting card department of Macy's, Robert Gottlieb stumbled into a job at Simon Schuster. By the time he left to run Alfred A Knopf a dozen years later, he was the editor-in-chief, having discovered and edited Catch-22, The American Way of Death, The Chosen and True Grit, among other exceptional books. At Knopf, he edited an astonishing list of authors including Toni Morrison, John Cheever, Doris Lessing, John Le Carré, Michael Crichton, Lauren Bacall, Catherine Graham, Robert Caro, most famously, Katharine Hepburn, Barbara Tuchman, Nora Ephron and Bill Clinton. Nora Ephron, of course, is someone that I really, really love. And at the back has got his reasoning for why he actually wrote a autobiography. For a long time, when people asked me whether I was ever going to write a memoir or autobiography, I answered that all editors' memoirs basically come down to the same thing. Quote, "So I said to him, Leo, don't just do war, do peace too," unquote. For various reasons, I wanted to set bits of the record straight. So I am just utterly delighted about this. So his titles for different parts of his life are Reading, Learning, Working, Simon Schuster, Working, Alfred A Knopf, Working, The New Yorker, Working, Knopf, Redux, Dancing, Writing, Living. What a fantastically interesting list of ways to summarise your work. So, if nothing else, I'm going to have an endless list of anecdotes about writers of the 20th century. But, I'm just so delighted about that. The reading dance is so massive. You don't need to expect that I will be having a report back on that anytime soon. And Lives and Letters looks brilliant. It looks like this kind of book where you have potted biographies and you can pick and choose and just pick it up and read a bit and down. So that might be how I read that. But this book I'm absolutely desperate to read. Now, I have watched the documentary of the work that he did with Robert Caro, which was about 50 years, editing books which kept on winning Pulitzers and were phenomenal. And it's called Turn Every Page. And it was made by his daughter, Robert Gottlieb's daughter, Lizzy. And thoroughly enjoyed that. And if you love books, try and see it. A lot of it is to do with editing, because obviously that's what he did, not only writing these chunksters about dance, and there's also one about jazz music, which I have my eyes out for. I'm trying not to buy too much all at once, but so yeah, but I'm really looking forward to reading him. He's very thoughtful, obviously smart cookie. He is called Avid Reader because he hoovers books up so quickly. And one of the wonderful things he said in turn every page, when he was referring to his work as an editor, he would, when he got the manuscript of one of his writers, he would read it overnight through the evening, ring them the next day and say, here's my basic thoughts, I think it's very good, and I think we might want to consider other things. And then he would reread it again much more correctively with a view to, well, what exactly do you want to change. But he said that, this may sound a bit condescending, but he did say to do anything less was cruelty to dumb animals. But it's cruelty in the sense that he knew that when a writer has finished writing a manuscript for a novel or a non-fiction book, it's a massive undertaking. It's taken months or years or maybe even a decade, in the case of Robert Caro, it's time. And the writer is thinking, what's the reaction going to be? Is it okay? What is it? And that to have an editor who responds within 24 hours. This brings down that level of nervousness and unknowing, and it immediately reassures, and then starts the process of the editing and the rewriting. So I thought that was fantastic. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why people loved having him as an editor. Another point he made in Turn Every Page was that he was there to edit the book that the writer wanted to present, not to rewrite it to be the book that he would like to produce. He considered himself as being someone in service to the writer and to the reader, of course, eventually, that it would be a really good, clear and interesting communication. So, I have now got 3 books to read through, and this will keep me amused for the summer. Well, not the summer, for a few weeks anyway. Here we go. And I will report back. But this is part of a wider reading project, which is reading across the arts, particularly with autobiographies in the next while, probably for about a year or so. And I thought start off with some of the people who are key people, whose lives touch so many others, and will also give insight to who might be more interesting to follow up on as well, because we only have so much time to read books. So I'm planning to read from the best and one of the best editors as well. So I hope you follow me on that journey as I report back. And also, obviously, I'm working up towards September, whenever there will be Framed in September, the BookTube event, where we read, write and respond to arts. So I'm thinking I will have something to say at that point and books to recommend. So that's me for now. Bye from the sunshine of a garden, which is, for the moment, fairly quiet. So I hope you're staying cool where you are, and I'll see you shortly.